Can you name another hobby content creator that works harder than me? I don't know if you can. The proof of that is this is the 1000th video in 3 years. 3 years, 1000 videos posted on the channel. I think that's pretty impressive, right? All the videos are all about helping you guys get armies or models on the table in a quick and achievable manner. And I think most of these videos have successfully done that. We have comment after comment after comment of people thanking me for those tutorials, getting models painted up, alleviating their fears, and just really enjoying the hobby. So I love that. And to celebrate that, I'm going to do a 1000-point Tyranid army in one day to celebrate 1000 videos. Now, specifically the army that I'm going to be working on is the Vanguard Onslaught Tyranid Force. So it's a special detachment inside of the Tyranid Codex, which allows you to take the Death Leaper as your warlord. He's going to be supported by a couple of other lictors, 3 to be precise. He's going to be kind of balanced out with these fast-moving Van Ryan's Leaper models, 3 units of 6 of those, and then 2 units of 10 genestealers with that gnarly little infiltratory tendril bits to make them all match in as a cohesive force. I'm going to paint this up in a single sitting. It should be a lot of fun, and it is to celebrate 1000 videos. If you think that I deserve for you guys to hit that subscribe button because I had 1000 videos, that's up to you. I think I do. I think you should hit that button and support me. I think that'd be a nice thing. Otherwise, let's dive in and see how we get these models done and how the Morrigan Hive Fleet will grow after today. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first with this army, it is after I have constructed it all, I'm using my Warmag magnets to stick magnets to the bottom of all their bases. These guys had those little like pre-punched tab holes to hold them on the base. So I just clipped those off really quickly and then stuck these guys down. I'm moving away from traditional storage and everything now is being like stored in the Warmag cases. I'm not sponsored by Warmag or anything like that ever. I just find it to be a really useful way to store miniatures. I'm going to be transporting them over to Wormworld in one of these Green Stuff World cases. So obviously the magnets for those work perfectly. I managed to fit the entire army on 2 trays, which is really good because Death Leaper is really tall and it actually negated the possibility of putting in a 3rd tray of models. So I had to make it all fit on 2. Bit of a nightmare. After that, I was ready to start spraying them. So I got them all stuck down to bases and then I get them sprayed up. I use black and then a coat of light gray over the top of it as a zenithal, which is what I traditionally do when painting all of my Tyranid pieces. Now, I'm not going to be going through the how I paint each and every model from this particular video. I have done videos on my YouTube channel for Tyranids a million times over, and I've shown you how to paint this scheme. This is Hive Fleet Morrigan. This is my own personal fleet. It is based on like Irish mythology and stuff like that. She's a goddess of war. She's pretty awesome. So I've stolen her name or seconded her name and I'm using it for my Hive Fleet. It's pretty awesome. You want to check that out. Like I said, there's a bunch of other videos on my channel for Tyranids and you can learn how to paint this scheme. There's a whole host of people out there who are now using Hive Fleet Morrigan as their own color scheme. So there's probably hundreds of thousands of points of Tyranids painted in this scheme now, which I find really endearing and really, really cool. So what I decided was, I did misspeak a little bit at the start of this video. I did say it was supposed to be one sitting. It's supposed to be one like session, and the session was supposed to be like 12 hours long. So I was giving myself 12 hours to paint 1000 points of Tyranids. Is this possible? So when I started by base coating some of these miniatures, getting the contrast and shade stages on them, I was originally going to do them all as one giant batch. It quickly became apparent that that was like too much to handle in one go. So I was like, okay, I'm going to divide this project into 2. I'm going to get a batch of models done completely, 100%, and then I'm going to move on to the second batch of models. The first batch of models I decided to tackle was 18 Von Ryan's Leapers. These are some of my new favorite sculpt of all of the Tyranid range. They are absolutely stunning. The only thing I wish I had was a multi-part plastic kit to get a little bit more variety into the sculpts. These are the push fit ones, so there's 3 sculpts. So I've got the same 3 sculpts 6 times over. A little bit unfortunate, but with Tyranids, it doesn't matter all that much, really. I got one set with Leviathan, and then I actually bought 5 copies of like issue 3 of the not Imperium magazine, but the equivalent of that for the Tyranid ones. So it cost me like 40 bucks, and I managed to get another 15 of these Leapers. So I saved myself a bunch of cash by getting them that way, so I feel really grateful. So they've been sat in a bag like that for, well, ever since that issue of the magazine came out. It is quite an impressive sight seeing so many of them all lined up. It's very cool. This stage here where I use traditional acrylic paints, it's actually Stegadon Scale Green, and I block in all of the carapace. That is by far the most time consuming part of painting these models. I would say just to block in the blue on these 18 Von Rhein's Leapers took about 4 hours. It was nightmarish, but I powered through, I managed to get it done, and I definitely felt like I'd broken the back of this half of the project, if you know what I mean, the Von Rhein's Leapers, when that was done. Because they're basically mini lictors, they have so much carapace on them, so much detail, that it did take quite a bit of time. We used black for all the claws, all of their hooves, any other bits and pieces like that. We got the models based, we used grey texture paste, and then we gave that a brown wash over the top of it to darken it down. We will be dry brushing it up with a brighter silver, adding some snow texture paste later on to make it really blend in. We do like layering up the chitin that is on these models with a little bit of a brighter blue, just to make it pop even better. And then we add a nice little bit of Doombull brown into all the recesses and cracks of all the carapace and chitin. It just makes it look really alien-esque. It's something I stumbled across / needed help from a much better painter, and he told me about the Doombull brown trick, and that got that done. Ever since the new Tyranid range got launched with the kind of new edition of Warhammer 40,000 and the new Death Leaper got shown off, I've always been a huge fan of lictors, but they showed that new Death Leaper and I just wanted him so badly. So he's one of the first miniatures I painted up for the new range of Tyranids. And then when I got my hands on the Codex and saw that there was an entire army list that you could do based around this guy, it removes the part where he's not allowed to be your warlord, it allows him to be your warlord. And then obviously there's a bunch of stratagems and stuff based around all the lictors and Von Rhein's Reapers and all that kind of stuff. I was in love. I just knew, as a person who already had 6,000 points of fully painted Tyranids, I knew that I was going to build an entire force based around that. So when the opportunity arose, which is why I'm doing this army, we are going to a Warhammer World trip with some friends of mine. There was 6 or 8 of us going. And I made the suggestion that we boycott power armor for this trip. Not because we dislike power armor. We all love power armor. That's the problem. Whenever we do these trips, 5 of the 8 people will have power armor. So I decided for a little bit more variety, I suggested, why don't we just boycott power armor for this and everybody take a different army. So there's 2 of us that are doing Tyranids. There's a Tau player. There's a Harlequins player. There's 2 Orc players. It's just awesome to see that. So when I knew that was the option and we were going to run 1,000-point lists, I knew I was going to lean heavily into this list and finally have it on the table. So you may have noticed I have finished the Von Rhein's Leapers portion of this challenge. It was supposed to take, like I said, half of this challenge to complete that, which was 6 hours. I did fail. It did take a little bit longer. It took 8 hours to get those first batch of guys done, which was a little bit over time. So for the second half of this challenge, I have 19 genestealers and 3 lictors to paint. So can I achieve 19 genestealers and 3 lictors in the remaining 6 hours that I have or remaining 4 hours that I have for this challenge, now that I've used up some of my time on day 1? Very not likely, but we will see at the end of the video as the manager whether I managed to pull that off or not. Obviously, the thing that slowed me down the most was the blue stage in the first half. Genestealers don't have nearly as much carapace on them, so when I got to that stage on these guys, I got to fly through it, which was nice. So it did speed it up, but whether or not I'll make it to the end, that's up to you guys. As you can see, the conveyor belt method is indeed out whilst getting these guys done. Army painting is a whole other skill. I don't think I'm particularly good at, not good at army painting or army building, but the thing that I am good at these days is, picking up a squad, finishing it, picking up the next squad, finishing it until the army is done, which is good. I'm not particularly good at painting 50 models in a day kind of thing. I do get burnt out. Once one stage takes too long, I get really discouraged and it just drives me nuts. So even though it may be a quicker way of painting overall, you will get an army done, it pushes it to that bit of it's not enjoyable. I would much rather take my time with a squad, then a couple of days later pick up the next squad, and so on and so forth until it's done. Okay, this is that blue stage that I was hoping wasn't going to take as long. As you can see, I've got a fresh wet palette, I've got some freshly watered down blue, and it is time to start layering it up. Like I said, not nearly as much chitin on the genestealers, but obviously quite a lot on the 3 lictors. So we're going to take our time and make sure we block in all of that blue. You got to be real careful as well. One of the main things that slows it down is this skin at this point is done. Like, we have completed the skin. Therefore, we can't go fast with the blue, or else we might hit the skin, and that will show up real bad. It's not something you want to do, not a mistake that you want to make with these particular guys. Here's that brown shade I said I was putting on their basing, and here's the lighter blue going on the carapace. I'm not kind of showing you as much footage on the second half because it's exactly the same as the first half of the painting challenge. I gave all of the genestealers the kind of tentacle-y faces, which I think kind of makes them fit a lot more in with the lictors and the Van Ryn's Leapers section. That's why they kind of all go together. If I was to expand this force to 2,000 points, what would I add? Well, I do have 3 Dimacharian models from Forge World, which are basically just giant lictors that move really fast and fight. So I would add those 3 in first, and then whatever points I have left over, maybe a Broodlord and some more genestealers or something, I don't know. I'd be pretty much nearly out of points. Those guys were like 200 points a pop. So that'd be 600 points gone. 400 points left. A Broodlord's probably about half those points, and then maybe one more unit as genestealers, and I'm done. So maybe I'll do that to make it a more aggressive 2,000 point force, add some big monsters in. Maybe that might happen. The Volupus pink stage is just one of my favorite bits of painting this particular scheme. Painting it into all the little cracks in the armor and all the little like sores and rents in the skin and all the pipework and all that just adds that extra like flash of alien color to the models, and they look so cool. We are coming up to the kind of last steps now, painting that brown paint between the carapace and of course getting that snow texture paste on the model. I finally got some footage where I'm actually putting it on the model. But yeah, we're about to finish up these guys, and then we're going to find out whether or not we were successful in getting it done in the allotted time, or if we failed miserably. Let's find out. Okay, my new 1,000 point Tyranid army is complete. It did take 2 sittings across 2 days, which was my original plan for the 12-hour challenge. I was going to do 6 hours one day and 6 hours the next. The first day ended up being closer to 8 hours to get all the Van Ryn's Leapers done in a single sitting. That was a grueling day. The question is whether or not I managed to get the second day worth of stuff done in a reasonable amount of time. No, it was about 8 hours again, unfortunately, which means this 12-hour challenge was a fail in terms of trying to do it in 12 hours, but a success in I did an army in 16 hours. So, and my new 1,000 points is ready to be deployed in games of Warhammer 40,000 in Warhammer World in a couple of weeks' time with some friends of mine, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys when we go. So, it is everything I wanted in a Tyranid list. I do have my Death Leaper. He is flanked by 3 fully painted lictors, all new plastic ones, all the variety of sculpts, 3 units of 6 Van Ryn's Leapers, all fully painted, ready to rock and roll, and 2 units of 10 genestealers to lead the front. So super pleased with this final result. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this journey. This is a 1,000 point army for 1,000 pieces of content on my YouTube channel. If you look at my YouTube channel, it says Mediocre Hobbies, 1,000 videos. So thank you guys so much for sticking around for 1,000 pieces of content on my YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed any of them over the course of time, please do think about subscribing, liking this video, throwing comments, and checking out things like Patreon and channel membership. All that's linked down below. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to see what the next 1,000 pieces of content bring.